Russia-Ukraine. Our next guest is a congresswoman who was actually born in Ukraine. She just got back from that country and she met with President Zelensky over there. Congresswoman Victoria Spartz is with us, Republican from the state of Indiana. Congresswoman, President Biden just approved sending another 3,000 troops to Europe on top of the 8,500 he's already committed. What else do you want to see the president do?
Well, I think, President Biden needs to say what he means and mean what he says. And he needs to decide where he's going to draw the line and send a message, where we're going to stop Russia. Because if you listen to President Putin, he's talking about pre-1997 NATO, which excluded a lot of our allies like Poland and Czech Republic and Baltic countries and Hungary. So I think this aggression can have very serious consequences. So I think we need to be serious. But we also need to have discussion with China. China just blocked the debate at the UN Security Council and joined Russia. And China needs to understand they cannot just be hiding behind the scenes. And, if we're going to have some sanctions, they're going to be affecting them too.
Okay. I understand that a large part of Ukraine's population is of Russian heritage. I think it's like 40%, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But is Ukraine united against Russia? In the event of an invasion?
Well, I tell you one thing, I haven't been in the country for a long time, and it is, country has a lot of heritages. But when you have a foreign aggressor, and, Ukraine been independent for 30 years now, to enter the country, and you have thousands of young kids dying in this war that there is no need to be a war. If you think about it, Kiev Rus actually started Moscow. Chernigov Prince, the area I grew up, he was a founder of Moscow. So it's very unbelievable for me to see what's happening. So I think Ukrainian people on the ground are tired, and they want to have peace, stability, prosperity, and democracy, and they're willing to fight, and they're willing to die for freedoms. And I think that is, President Putin underestimated the will of Ukrainian people. There is no division between Ukrainian people.
How about this for a scenario? Putin could install a pro-Russian president replacing Zelensky. If they did that, what would be the reaction from Ukrainians?
Well, I don't want to think about hypothetical scenarios, but I can tell you, I think people are tired of oppressive and suppressive government. And Ukraine is really between West and East, and there is no problem, there is no threat to Russia from Ukraine. I think he just doesn't like that Ukraine wants to be with the West. Yeah. And I think if he would want to be good to his people, he will want his people to be with the West, with democracy, with freedoms, not suppression. I think people are tired, and people are willing to fight for freedoms and die, and a lot of them did die.
Last one, Victoria, Congresswoman. Do you think that Putin will invade Ukraine? Whether it's a small incursion or a full-scale invasion, do you think he'll cross that border with his tanks?
Well, only President Putin knows what he will do, but I think it would be a very bad mistake for him and for his people. It will be bad for Ukraine, but it also will be bad for Russia, and it wouldn't be very wise of him to do this. But we have commitment to our NATO allies. We have some Budapest memorandum, the assurances, so we need to keep our word. And ultimately, Eastern Europe has to be united. It's also, a threat to them, and they need to think how they're going to be helpful to Ukraine. And hopefully Western Europe will step up too, because we don't want to wait till the checkpoint Charlie.
Right, indeed. Yes, I know it well. Victoria Spartz, Republican, Indiana. Thank you very much for joining us, Congresswoman. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.